Imagine, you wake up tomorrow and thousands of everyday products quietly carry a new tax. Not a tax you see on your receipt, no, a hidden tax built right into the price. Phones, cars, clothes, even the parts American factories desperately need. That's what tariffs can do. And if
Trump Tariffs 2.0
storm back in a big way, the real question isn't just politics. The real question is who pays, who wins, and what happens to inflation and the US dollar in 2026. By the end of this video, you'll understand tariffs in simple words, and you'll know the 3 places the cost can land and the 3 signals to watch next. A tariff is basically a tax on imports. If a product comes into the US from another country, the government can slap on an extra charge, 10%, 25%, sometimes even more. Here's the critical point. The tariff is not paid by the foreign country. The tariff is paid at the border by the importer, usually a US company. Then that company faces a tough choice: raise prices, accept lower profits, or switch suppliers, redesign the supply chain, and hope it works. And those choices tell us exactly who pays. When tariffs hit, the cost usually splits 3 ways. 1. Consumers pay. If importers raise prices, shoppers feel it instantly. Higher prices at the store, smaller discounts, tighter budgets. 2. Companies pay. Sometimes businesses don't dare raise prices, afraid of losing customers, so they swallow the cost, bleeding profits. 3. Foreign exporters pay. Sometimes overseas sellers slash their prices just to keep US buyers. Their revenue shrinks, their margins collapse. In reality, it's often a messy mix, and it all depends on one simple thing: how easy it is to replace the product. Now, let's talk inflation, because that's what keeps people awake at night. Tariffs can push inflation up in 2 ways. A. Direct price increases. Imported goods get more expensive. Electronics, appliances, car parts, you feel it directly. B. Indirect ripple effects. Even made-in-America products rise in price if they rely on imported components, chips, chemicals, machinery. When inputs get taxed, the final product costs more too. But here's the key. Tariffs usually create a one-time step up in prices, not endless inflation forever. So the big question for 2026 is, will tariffs be small and targeted, or broad and heavy enough to reshape price behavior across the entire economy? Winners and losers. Potential winners: protected domestic producers finally breathing easier. US manufacturing regions if new factories rise. Countries like Mexico, Vietnam, India, ready to grab market share if China gets hit. Likely losers: consumers if prices climb. US companies change to imported parts, autos, machinery, electronics. Exporters punished by retaliation: farmers, industrial goods, even iconic American brands. Tariffs aren't simply good or bad, they're a trade-off: protection versus higher costs, disruption versus opportunity. Supply chains rerouting. Picture this: companies scrambling, shipping from new countries, assembling in unfamiliar locations, redesigning products with different inputs, moving final assembly closer to home. That's why Tariffs 2.0 could spark a massive global trend: supply chain rerouting. But rerouting isn't free. It means new factories, new contracts, delays, inefficiencies. Short run, higher costs. Long run, maybe resilience, but often at a higher average price. The US dollar. Now, the dollar, this is where things get fascinating. Path 1. Dollar strengthens. If tariffs spook investors, markets flip into risk-off mode. Money rushes into safe assets: US dollars, US bonds. The dollar climbs. And if inflation stays sticky, the Fed may keep rates higher for longer, supporting a stronger dollar still. Path 2. Dollar weakens. But tariffs can choke growth. If growth slows, the Fed eventually cuts rates and the dollar softens. Budget strains, policy uncertainty, investors may pull back. So it all comes down to timing. Short-term shock: stronger USD. Medium-term drag: weaker USD. That's why 2026 could be volatile, markets swinging between inflation worry and growth worry. 3 signals to watch. If you want to track this like a pro without drowning in headlines, watch these 3 signals. Core goods inflation. Appliances, cars, electronics, clothing. If these climb, tariffs are biting. Dollar index plus US yields. If both jump together, markets are bracing for higher for longer rates or risk-off flows. Shipping and import data. Container rates, port volumes, import trends. If one country's exports fall while another's rise, supply chains are rerouting in real time. So, Trump Tariffs 2.0 isn't just a trade debate. It's a story about who absorbs the cost, how supply chains reroute, and whether inflation sticks in 2026. Remember the simple framework. Costs land on consumers, companies, and foreign exporters. Inflation rises through direct prices and ripple effects. The dollar can swing either way depending on risk and rates.
If this helped, subscribe to Global Flowlines. We follow the money, the trade routes, and the global trends shaping your future.